What's up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and how should I put this? Let's just say that this situation with Bryan Kohberger's lawyer is getting kind of spicy. I thought this would be something that most of us would agree with. You know, knowing that she had this connection and she defended multiple parents of the victims in the past, I thought most people would see an issue with that. But this particular topic has been rather divisive in the true crime community. I see people firmly standing on one side, people firmly standing on the other, and honestly, as long as people are respectful, I don't see anything wrong with some healthy public discourse. I like people sharing their ideas and opinions, or, you know, saying why they think this is right or why they think this is wrong. Now, personally, I've already told you how I feel about it. I think it's kind of in bad taste, if you will. And I think it's something that could be used in the future. If Bryan is found guilty, it's something that could be used to discredit the verdict, to discredit the defense, to discredit, his legal representation. Just to say, oh, it was not a fair trial. Something of that nature. Also, emotionally, it must be somewhat damaging to the families of these victims who, if this goes to trial, which it is, they're probably going to testify at some point. And they're going to have to look their lawyer in the eyes while she's defending the man who allegedly killed their kids. It's an all-around messed up situation, in my opinion. But when you put opinions on the internet, you always get comments like, well, you're no expert. And listen, I tell you all the time, I'm no expert. I'm just a guy sharing my opinions. But since you all like to hear from the experts are saying the same thing. In fact, one expert is now calling for Bryan Kohberger's lawyer to step down. Let's go ahead and dive into this article. A legal expert is now calling for Taylor to recuse herself from the Kohberger case as he believes it could result in the suspected killer appealing any result in which he is found guilty. California litigation lawyer Matthew Barhoma says that Taylor seems to want to work on the case with Kohberger, describing it as an odd and unique situation. Thank you. Thank you. Finally, someone says it. It looks to me like she wants this. I believe that there was an out here. I believe that she could have chosen to not drop one of the victim's mothers. She could have continued on with that case and someone else could have picked up here. But it seems like she wants it. And like I've been telling you all, it seems like there's something unique here with their connection, because she's pulling out all the stops for Kohberger. But let's go forward. He said, Taylor had many prior dealings with the mother on multiple occasions, and that heightens the conflict. You have to assume she received no confidential information from the mother that could bleed into this case. And then you have to question if you can do the job impartially. And it would affect Bryan. It could affect Bryan, who may not have a replaced attorney. It is an inherently difficult issue with no clear-cut answer and is a gray area. However, if it were me, I would recuse myself from the case. Another issue is that Idaho is quite small, so there may not be an alternate public defender with a large and separate office like they would have in LA. I would be surprised, however, if there was no one at all that could replace her. This kind of conflict happens all the time, especially in the public defender's office, who represents many individuals. But the issue here is the fact that she has represented the victim's mom and another victim's parents several times previously. So she is conflicted on the Bryan case. There is a very high likelihood that the parents are going to testify in the trial, especially if it becomes a death penalty trial. The parents and the families are going to stand up in court and testify. And in that instance, Taylor would be cross-examining her former clients. Xana's mother has since claimed that she gave Taylor power of attorney. We're actually going to go over all of that. There's some things that happened while I was out of town that I want to go over with you all. I'm sure you may have seen it somewhere else, but I want to provide my opinions upon that too, but let's go forward. Long story short, though, Xana's mother actually trusted this woman and granted her power of attorney, but let's go forward. Barhoma went on. If Taylor does have power of attorney in the mother's case, I don't think she will for very long. Just looking at the mother's reaction, that tells you everything you need to know about the conflict. There is no way you can tell me that there isn't another attorney that could come in and replace her, and I would recuse myself from the case. On the other hand, Bryan has the right to a speedy trial, and that can be impacted in a case like this. If Taylor continues to be his attorney, and it does turn into a death penalty case, then in that predicament, then it gives a really good argument to overturn his conviction or overturn the death penalty. It is a really difficult area to navigate, and I would recuse. If Bryan were to be found guilty and the penalty was given, then he would have a very good argument to get it overturned if Taylor was his lawyer. Prosecutors have yet to indicate whether they will seek the death penalty in Kohberger's case, with Xana's mother adding that no one had contacted her from their office to tell her that Taylor was dropping her as a client. It was unclear why a liaison officer from the victim and witness coordinator team had not gotten in touch. Barhoma explained that it is plausible that Taylor only became aware of the conflict after taking the case, but he believes that it would have come out earlier. He added, there is a substantial conflict of interest. Despite removing herself from the mother's case, she should get herself off Bryan's case as well. But there seems to be an interest from her that she wants to represent him. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. It is obviously a high-profile case, and also her current client could be facing the death penalty, and there is apparently no replacement for her, so that is part of her duty to represent him. The likelihood of this becoming a penalty case is high, which means the mom is going to take the stand, and there's a chance it won't happen, but the instance that it does, I don't know what will happen. He could get a new trial. He could have his conviction overturned if he is found guilty, and everyone would have to go through the whole process again. I would just recuse myself if I was her. It is the smartest thing to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think she's going to step down. Like he says, I think she wants this case. I think she wants this case. Now, I'm not the type of person that tears people down because they're trying to be successful. When you do something, you should try to be successful at it. I'm on YouTube. I want to be successful on YouTube. I'm sure she wants to be successful in her job. I can't look down on her necessarily for wanting a big case. You know what I mean? for wanting to maybe make a name for herself. But at the same time, when you take a step back, is this not somewhat selfish? Are you going to jeopardize this case simply because you want to be attached to a high-profile case? Because, like he said, if Kohberger is found guilty, there's already this elephant in the room about this lawyer working with the victims' families. Not just Xana's mother, but Madison's parents as well, step-parent. So, I mean, like I said before, it's a small world. But that's definitely a conflict of interest. And make no mistake about it, if you are in this situation and you are found guilty, you're going to look for any way out possible. Here's a way out. It's almost like an exit sign, a glowing exit sign in a dark theater. You can't see anything, you see that glowing exit sign. That's how I view this situation. It's not a get out of jail free card, but it's, hey, let's get another trial. Let's do this all over again. Let's try this one more time with someone else. It's like a redo card, if you will, in my opinion. So I'm hoping this gets nipped in the bud now. I don't think she's going to willingly just step down. Maybe something will come of this, maybe not. But it's a messy situation. And to take it one step further, it's sick when you really think about it. It's really sick, weird, and twisted. Because once again, Bryan has this power in this situation. The victim's parents are going to have to sit there watching, possibly being cross-examined by their own lawyer. Mind you, it's a public defender, but the public defender that represented them in their recent cases and was representing one of them until dropping them like a hot potato to go defend Kohberger. So once again, Bryan gets this power. And he's probably getting off on that. He's probably getting off on the fact that his lawyer was also the lawyer for some of these victims' families. And they're going to be traumatized. It's already a traumatic experience when they have to talk and be questioned by this woman who may, or we already know, knows more information about them than the average person. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. I think this is not going to lead anywhere good. I want to know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think will come of this? Do you think there'll be a mistrial? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think everything will run smoothly? I highly doubt it, but there's always a possibility. Let me know your opinions, though, down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and remember to always remain opinionated.